Hello, I'm Tobias Kuhn, and in this video, I will give you a short hands-on introduction into nanopublications and Nanodash. So to follow this introduction yourself in an interactive way, you can go to this URL that you can see here, and I will also paste that to the video description. So knowledgepixels.com/nanopub demo. It will get you to this page. And as first, you have two links to Nanopublications and Nanodash in case you want to find out more about these. And the second one is just a link to the tool that we're going to be using further down. But I would like to introduce everything here to you with concrete hands-on examples. So we'll jump right in. There's one thing you need, though, to follow this, which is you need an ORCID account that you might or might not have already. In the latter case, you can go to this link and register. It's really quick and simple. And now we can start right away with publishing nanopublications. Now, what are nanopublications, you might ask yourself? In a nutshell, they are tiny pieces of data or knowledge that is represented in such a way that machines can precisely and fully understand them. You will see in a second what that means. And these small pieces, they then have a link to you as creator of these nanopublications and some other metadata around them, like a timestamp and a license and things like that. And together, this small package is treated as a publication in its own right. So these are, in a way, like small database entries that are treated as publications. You see just 3 examples with links that you can click on. And there are more here down in the link, but these are 3 good kind of examples to get you the idea what nanopublications are. We'll start with the first one, which is kind of a half serious, half fun example. These are nanopublications where you can state, once you're logged in, that you think something is over or underrated. Now, when you click on that link, you'll probably first see a window where you have to log in via ORCID. So that's where this ORCID account that you might have just created now comes in. And then afterwards, you see here at the top right, it recognizes you. And now this nanopublication has as main part an assertion. That's the thing you want to say. In this case, you see some things are already filled out. I see here, I, Tobias Kuhn. So in your case, it will be your name, of course, and it links it to my ORCID identifier. As you see, all sentences, as you might call them, that you see here, are fully made of identifiers. This means that these statements are then precisely and fully understandable and interpretable by machines, so by algorithms. And here you see that there's a value pre-filled which says, I think this is overrated. And you see, again, it has an identifier, but it could also say it is underrated. So these are just the 2 possibilities here. And I'll come to the third part here in just a second. But you also see it comes with a provenance, where I could say where this assertion came from. In the simplest case, it's just attributed to me. So just because I said so, which makes a lot of sense for this type of opinion that we're stating here. For other kind of statements that we're going to see, you might want to choose a different provenance, though. You might want to link it to a thing that you derived it from, for example. But for now, I'll go back to the one where it's just attributed to myself. And we have publication info. This is metadata about the nanopublication as a whole, where it says that I created it because the system knows I'm logged in. I can choose a license that I want to publish it under. And there's a number of things you can add here. One thing you might want to do, you can mark it as an example nanopublication. And then this indicates that this nanopublication doesn't need to be or shouldn't be taken seriously, because it's maybe just you trying out the thing. So when you have this, you should feel free to publish whatever you want, even if it's not something that's correct, right? So you explicitly state that it's an example. And again, as you see, all these sentences are fully made of formal identifiers. So what we could say now here is, I think is underrated. I think demos are underrated, right? So demo, I can type here, and you see it queries, in this case, Wikidata for identifiers. So there could be others, but this template, this form was defined such that it queries Wikidata. And you see here a bit of information. Music recorder for limited circulation. No, that's not the kind of demo I mean. Game demo, no. Mockup, no. Demo art software with graphics, no. Product demonstration. That's rather what I meant. And I think this is underrated, actually. Okay, and I think that's not an example. I really believe that, so I feel free to publish that. I have to check that this is now really made public and it cannot be fully undone. As with scientific publications, you can retract it later, but not fully unpublish it. I understand that, and I press publish. And now you see a final version of a nanopublication that I just published this very second. And you see here at the top, again, the nanopublication as a whole has now an identifier. If you click on it, you're forwarded to the same page you've just been to. Okay, let's try out some of the other examples. So before we go to check out a bit where these things are actually published to. Well, first, we can make a more realistic and more serious example, namely linking an organism to an environment. That's a template from the area of biodiversity. And you see here it gets a bit more technical and complex. So there's an association here. It's an association of an organism, so like a living being, to an environment. We can say what the relation this association has. We can again search here for a number of relations, but there's one that shows up as a default, which is has habitat, so that the organism lives at a particular environment. Then we see the organism has an identifier, and the organism is an instance of a taxon concept, like a species. So you could say that the organism as so is actually a member of the taxon concept that has the name. So now you have to know the Latin names, because that's how these people refer to species. Ratus ratus is, I think, just a common rat. So I've seen a few of these, so I can make an example that's actually true. Then there's a number of optional things here. You don't need to fill in anything here, but life cycle stage, maybe I want to say, okay, I found a rat that was in prime adult stage. Some more things I don't bother filling in because they're optional, but then I have to state what is the environment the association links the organism to. I've seen a rat actually in a city, so that's what I mean. I could add some free text comment. I don't want to do that. It has a default provenance that allows me to have a source, but I don't really have a source here as a URL. But I can specify it was by human observation, and it was attributed to me. That's correct. I don't need to tag it as an example because I actually did see a rat once in a city, so it's not going to be a super useful contribution, but it's a true contribution nevertheless. So I published this. That's where we go. So we can have so this was a rather complex example. We can have a look at the last one, which is a very simple one. So you can also do such simple things like tweets, basically, like microblogging platforms like Twitter or Mastodon allow you to do. I can say here, hi all, this is just a demo. Okay, we can have a link for the info. Yeah, why not? We can put this here. So, and again, it's attributed to me. That's fine. It's not an example. I can leave it at that and publish this plain message. So you see, we can do simple stuff like what you could do with Twitter already, but we can also do much more complicated expressions, such as the one with the organism and the environment you've just seen. And you have here another link that shows you a number of templates. Many of them I've created, but many of them some other power users of Nanodash have created. You can even create your own template, and there's a template for that. So because templates are also just nanopublications, but I won't go into this in this introductory video, but just so you know. Now to check out these nanopublications and to query them, we can use the different services of the nanopublication network of services. And if you click on this link, you see this visualization of this world map with all the different instances. Now, all the orange colored services here, these are the ones where nanopublications are published to. And actually, the 3 nanopublications I just published, they have now already been populated to several of these instances. So it's all decentralized and redundant. So even if some servers are down, as they are now, the system as a whole, the network as a whole, is fully operating. And all the other colors down here are query services. And a few of these we're now going to be using. They don't publish or archive data on their own. They just replicate the data they find on the orange services and then make them available through their query services. Some provide full Sparkle endpoints, in case you know what that is, and others provide more specific and more restricted services. And based on these, also based on the Sparkle endpoints, we can then define very specific APIs that allow you to query for specific data entries and also build tool on top of them. And this is what you see in these few links that I've provided for you here. So if you want to get all the over or underrated opinions by all people who have expressed these, then you can click on that one and you get a view like this. You might have to press submit. And you see now, sorted by date, the latest opinions. So I was the latest just a few seconds ago, where I said the product demonstration is underrated. And then a few days back, 2 people actually stated that Pizza Hawaii is overrated. You can go back and you might want to check out all the top overrated things. And you go here, and not so surprisingly, it's Pizza Hawaii. And if you publish your own over or underrated thing, within a few seconds or half a minute at most, it will show up there too. Then you can also do this very general view that shows you the latest nanopublications by anyone, but without the example nanopublications. And you see here, the top 3 are the ones that are just published. You also see that tools publish nanopublications like this wizard that you see here. And down here you see a few more people who have published recently. If you publish yourself some example nanopublications, which is the easiest to do, because then you don't have to worry whether the thing is actually correct or not. And these you will find here in the second link. You see that earlier today I already published a few example nanopublications, and yours will show up here too. So in that sense, you see the whole life cycle of publishing nanopublications and querying them again, all in a decentralized network. What I didn't show you here specifically is that Nanodash and all the Nanodash, as well as all the query and publishing servers, also Nanodash is available through several instances. So Nanodash itself is also decentralized, and if this Nanodash instance that you've now used here, like this one, if the one at knowledgepixels.com is down at some point, there are others to go to, and all these Nanodash instances, they don't store any data locally. All the data they show, they are gathered from, where's the link? From this decentralized network of services. All these Nanodash instances are fully powered in terms of data by this network, and so can be other applications that build on it. In the end, one thing you might want to do is when you go to your Nanodash profile page, I will look a bit simpler than mine, because I have published nanopublications to many different sites. I will show you a link where you can publish your introduction nanopublication. And again, it will look a bit simpler in your case, because you probably have just one entry here that allows you to publish your public key. That's a cryptographic key that is used to make digital signatures on your nanopublication, so people can verify it's actually you. And with such a nanopublication, you link your identifier to your name, and you express that you have this public key. And all in all, it's just another nanopublication that you can publish here. And afterwards, you can ask somebody that is already approved. We have here a list of approved users. You can ask one of these to approve you, and there's a link for that down here. And then you will show up in this approved list as well. You see, like this, we can have one aspect of trust modeled in nanopublications by such trust networks, where approved people approve further people, and like this, we can reliably figure out who should be considered trustworthy. So that's it. All these links, like Nanodash and nanopublications, give you a lot of further links that allow you to explore more if you're interested. That's that for this short demo. I hope you've enjoyed it.